Hi everyone! So today I'm here to share an any occasion card that I made using this adorable stamp set by Clearly Besotted called My Favorite Food, and it features a little mouse on top of a heap of cheese, and then there's also a little monkey on top of a heap of bananas and a little dog on top of a heap of bones. And all three of the main images are adorable, but for our card we are going to work on the little mouse. So let's get started by coloring the mouse, and I'm going to color the mouse with some Copic markers, and I'm using Copic Express It paper, which is my new favorite paper for Copic coloring. I also use Nina Solar White cardstock in 120 pound or 110 pound weight, but lately I have just been loving this Express It paper. It's really white, really smooth, and it's very easy to get a good blend with Copic markers. So for the little mouse, I'm just using some E30s to color in our little mouse, and we're going to have two mice. We're going to have a little boy mouse and a little girl mouse, and this is a little boy mouse, and we're going to color him with some darker shades in the range, and then for the little girl we're going to color her in with some lighter shades in the E30s range. For the cheese, I took out a whole bunch of different yellow and yellow-orange color combinations from my Copics. I don't know that that's necessary. I think that you could probably get by with just one set of yellow colors to blend. Maybe 3 different yellow colors would be enough, but I was just in the mood to play today, so I took out several different yellow and yellow-orange blends, including this one I'm working on now with Y11, Y38, and then I think I'm going to use some Y15 as well. And then the cheese that's more orange, for those I used YR21, 24, and 27. And now I'm adding a really bright cheese with Y04, Y08, and then the Y18. And I'm just going to make sure that my little combinations, that they're pleasing to the eye, that I have some bright yellows and that they're next to some of the more orangey yellows, and I'm just trying to spread out my 3 or 4 different blends that I'm using pretty uniformly throughout the little heap of cheese. And then there's also this little stray piece of cheese on the side that we're going to color in as well with some bright yellows. And now we'll work on the little girl mouse. So for the girl mouse, her base is going to be E30. Her ears are going to be R30 and then R20 to deepen the color a little bit in around the edges of her ears. And we'll deepen the color even more with some R22 on the very outer edges. And then for the outside of her body, we're going to shade it in with some E34 and some E31. I'm trying to keep her arms light and her feet light so that they stand out a little bit. And I'm trying to keep the area around her face pretty light as well. And then for my darkest shadows, I'm just going to add some E35. And I think she looks good. So now we'll move on to the little bow for her hair, which we're going to color in with R46 and then R56. I'm using the dies from the accompanying die set that comes with the stamp set, and I'm going to die cut out the images that I need for the card. And then after I run them through my die cut machine, I'm going to take them out of the dies and put them off to the side. For the pattern paper, I'm using a little yellow and white hearts pattern paper by My Favorite Thing stamp, and then also some of the new speckled pattern paper by Lawn Fawn that was part of their February release. And I'm using the paper that's white with some little yellow speckles. I thought that would look nice with our little mouse and cheese motif that we have going on for the card. So I'm using a wonky stitch die, rectangle die in 2 different sizes by MFT Stamps, and now I'm stamping the sentiment onto some of that Lawn Fawn speckled white and yellow paper. And I'm using Versamark ink, and then I'm going to get out my bright red Wow embossing powder, and use that color for our sentiment. Lately I've been really liking using some different colors for sentiments other than usually I just stick to black and white, but when I can I like to throw some red in, and then sometimes even I have a really pretty golden brown that I'll use, especially with coffee cards. But we're working on a cheese card, so we're going to use the red Wow embossing powder for this. And then once I have that embossed, I just wiped off the excess dust with my paintbrush. And now we're going to assemble the card using my tape runner for the back panel. And this is an A2 size card on an A2 size card base made out of 110-pound Neenah Solar white paper. And then for the focal panel, we're going to pop it up on one layer of foam tape and put it right into the middle. And then we're going to tape on our little mouse who is sitting on top of the heap of cheese. And we're going to put him towards the top of our focal panel. And then we're going to add the little girl mouse right in front of him. And then the banner sentiment we're going to put right underneath her. And I added a little piece of that cheese that we had colored in earlier to the right of the banner. Now I got out my honeybee acrylic hearts in Red Hot. I just love these little hearts. This is my first time using the red. I often use the peach on my cards, and I just thought that the red was a really nice pop of color against the yellow and browns and whites that are already with the card. So I'm just kind of arranging them where I think they look good, and I am adhering them with some glossy accents because glossy accents will dry clear and our little acrylic hearts are clear. So that works nicely that way. I'm going to go over the eyes and the nose with some black glaze pen. And then I'm going to fill in the little girl mouse's bow with some glossy accents. And then I'm taking some sugar almond Nuvo drops and I'm placing really tiny little specks of Nuvo drops along the focal panel just to kind of give some dimension to those little yellow speckles that are already contained on the focal panel. And that's the card for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you give this card a try. I've recently discovered Clearly Besotted, and I have to say I really love their products, especially their little plushy series of stamps. So I will see you again soon in the next video. Have a great weekend.